This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Now, have you guys seen the last video that I did? I was talking about the Traxxas TRX4 Sport that I've recently purchased. And wow, what a learning curve I had with this thing. First of all, it originally came on with these tracks. And these tracks go on. And what I didn't understand is I thought they'd give you the manual in the I'm just going to put this off to the side in the box, but actually what you have to do is download the manual. So being a beginner, you know, I really didn't understand a lot, but I thought that these were going to be like great crawler, you know, for crawling, because my whole point of buying a crawler is we have like this really fantastic track up at the Ocala flea market, and I wanted to go do some crawling up there. You know, I love doing the speed with the Armas and stuff like that, and I heard Traxxas was one of the best companies out there. So I went to a local hobby shop instead of going all the way to Altamont, which I should have gone to. And I went and I purchased this thing. I think I paid maybe 20 bucks more, but to be honest with you, what I would have saved in gas, it all equaled out. I got the tracks, and when I was driving, I would get this popping noise. And I couldn't figure out what it was. Anytime I put any kind of load on this, I would get a popping noise. So I was confused by that, because I took it right out of the box and started running it in the backyard where you saw some of the footage that I took. And maybe you can hear some of it or see some of it, how the back wheels kind of go dunk, 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 dunk every once in a while, almost like they're skipping tracks. Well, I called Traxxas and they said, well, the guy goes, I never heard of that. The best thing that we can do for you and the quickest solution is to take it to the hobby shop that you got it from. I go, okay. You know, I wasn't looking for a refund. I wasn't looking to, you know, oh, this doesn't work, give me my money back or anything. I just wanted it to, you know, whatever was wrong with it fixed. Took it to the hobby guy, and I said, well, Traxxas told me to bring it to you. And of course, you know, in a very unconvincing way. Oh, of course they did. Okay. So he started looking at it, and he tried saying that the differential was good, but that the tracks actually were rubbing on the inside. I go, well, that doesn't make sense, because a lot of the noise would happen when I turned, and I still couldn't figure it out. So there was no solution. He said to call Traxxas and that they would send me new tracks. Okay. So I got back here, and then what I did was I swapped, I called Traxxas and I explained what was happening. He goes, well, if you're running on any kind of different terrain, like concrete or something, it would pop the tracks. I go, well, that doesn't make sense, because I watched videos where they run over all kinds of stuff, grass, they ran it on the carpet, and it never was doing that popping the way it did. He goes, well, you have to adjust the tracks. I go, well, okay, how do you do that? He goes, it's in the manual. And I'm looking through the manual that comes with the thing, and he goes, no, you have to download the manual. So I download the manual, and what you have to do is take out this screw here, okay? And what you're going to be doing is turning these wheels, and it's going to cause a space that's going to tension this a bit. Now, I haven't done it yet, but I read it and it seemed pretty good. The reason I don't want to do it right now is that if I was to put these tracks back on, there's a good chance that if I don't know what I'm doing and I tighten it too much, I could cause a strain by having the track too tight. So, you know, there was a lot of mechanical stuff that I just didn't know. And then I went into I said, you know what? I'm just going to put on the wheels and make sure that it's nothing else with it. Okay? That it's not, you know, troubleshoot it correctly, put the wheels on, and if it's still doing the clicking, then there's something else wrong. It's not the tracks. Well, I put the wheels on, ran it out in the backyard. It runs perfectly. But I went to the manual to find out how to take the tires off, and it seemed pretty easy because you have to take a screw out for the shock here, and then common sense told you that you had to take this piece off, okay, in order to get to the nut that was going to connect to it. But at no place in the manual did it show you that you had to take off the piece that held the shock in. So I'm trying to figure out what two screws to take out to take off this piece that connects the shock to the track. And I did. And it was quite the experience, and it was quite rewarding when I was able to figure everything out and get the wheels on myself, especially being a first-time RC player, guy. But, when I was asking questions at Traxxas, I don't think their customer service is bad. They pick up right away. They're friendly. It's just the one guy that I got, the guy after the first guy, was like, okay, you're bothering me, kid. And I was kind of disappointed at that because I tried to explain to him this, the first thing that I've ever, these are the first, I've only been racing or running RC cars for about 3 weeks. And I'm trying to learn a lot of things. Maybe I went too fast by getting too advanced of the models, but I wanted the different types of feel. I wanted, a skidder. I wanted a basher. I wanted a crawler. And I wanted to get the full spectrum to see if this was everything that I thought it could be. And it is. It really is. It's a great hobby. But boy, for dealing with Traxxas and my first experience, it was a little disappointing, I would have to say, in the least. And trying to figure things out myself, which I think was part of the fun of the hobby, was trying to figure out what I needed to do to replace things. And started looking around and started tinkering. And I really enjoyed it, but I also was kind of frustrated by it. Also, in the same sense that, hey, I can follow just about anything and put anything together, but what I really wanted was a little more backup here, and I don't feel I got that from the hobby shop. And you've heard me talk about Michael's, and I don't think I'll ever go to any other place than Michael's again and bring my units, because they were just fantastic. And when I was doing this in they're in Altamont. But some of the local places here, I've read some of the reviews, and they got 3.5 stars, and honestly, that's what they get. I'm somebody that will go in there weekly, and I will buy a lot of stuff. And unfortunately, I think they kind of lost somebody that probably would buy maybe 4 or 5 more trucks for them. So you're throwing a few $1,000s away without even thinking. So that was my experience. But I have to say, again, the tracks, I'm still going to work on these. Right now, I'm going to do some crawling out in the backyard, and I just don't feel like tinkering with this yet. I think these are more for, like snow and different types of terrain. And I live in Florida. There ain't no snow here. But these things look so cool on the truck. They really do. And you saw it in the video. So until next time, it's your old pal Rob, as you get to watch a beginner grow in this wonderful, wonderful hobby of RC racing. Until next time.